So this is CJ Baker, and this is another edition of Tier List Tuesday. So I came across a massive tier list of 270 different bands. So I know I've done similar type of tier lists before, but this one's by far the biggest. And I think there's going to be some bands that I haven't ranked before. So we're gonna get right into it because this is gonna be a long ass video, but we'll quickly look at the different tiers. So we got greatest of all time, amazing, great, good, decent, okay, somewhat tolerable, bad, the absolute worst. I don't know. So there actually is quite a few different tiers here, probably more than what I usually do, but I'm sure this will be fun. So we start off with 10cc, a band I've never really got into. I've heard some of the stuff. The only song I can immediately think of is I'm Not in Love. Da, 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 da. Yeah, we know that song. Which the song's not terrible, but I don't know enough to really know where to rank them. I'll probably put somewhat tolerable. 1975. Don't hate them, but never really got into them. We'll probably go okay. One Direction, not really a fan, but I think they're better than most boy bands. And I can list them without blowing my brains out. So we'll go somewhat tolerable. Three Doors Down. They all bad. Don't like them, but I don't know if they're the absolute worst. Yeah, we'll put them in bad. Third Eye Blind. Um, kind of mixed on them. They got songs I don't necessarily hate. I actually love the song Jumper. And there's the scene, what was the Jim Carrey movie? I think it was Yes Man. But there was the scene where he was talking the guy off the ledge and they start singing that song. Wish you get off that ledge, my friend. But yeah, the band overall, I guess, is kind of okay. Okay, Four Non-Blondes, which I don't know a huge amount of them. Obviously, there's the What's Going On song, which I know gets slagged a bit, but I actually think the song's kind of catchy. But I don't think I know enough about them to go above okay. Five Finger Death Punch, they're just kind of okay. So that's 5 seconds of summer, which is, to me is kind of like a boy band. Never can't say I'm overly familiar, but what I've heard, I'll probably say somewhat tolerable. KACDC. Now we're starting to get a little bit closer to upper tier. Try to think of where to rank them. And this ACDC has shown up on a couple other tier lists I did. So I've already talked about how they have a lot of songs I love, like a lot of classic songs. Back in Black's a classic album. You shook me all night long. But then, of course, there's also the issue that a lot of their albums do start to kind of repeat themselves. So I'm kind of between great and amazing. I think we're gonna go great tier because the best stuff definitely kicks ass, but they, like I said, they do repeat themselves a bit. Aerosmith, I never really got into Aerosmith. I mean, they do have songs that I don't necessarily hate. They got some kick-ass rock tunes, Walk This Way, and I love the version with Run DMC. But yeah, the song from Armageddon, I don't want to miss a thing. That's one of the worst songs ever. Um, I'm gonna go decent. AJR. I just never really got into or put okay. I don't think I'm familiar enough with them to go above that. Okay, Alice Cooper. I think they had Alice Cooper has shown up on I do tier list I did. And of course here it kind of gets tricky because Alice Cooper, the band, is a little bit different than Alice Cooper, like the solo artist, but I'll just bunch them together. They do have some songs that I find catchy. School's out for summer. Uh, Probably a step below AC/DC. Yeah, I'll put them in good. So what do we got? Alice in Chains. So not Alice and Cooper in Chains. Yeah, they have Alice in Chains has a lot of songs I really liked. It's an excellent album. Here comes the booster. Yeah, I'll probably put Amazing for Alice in Chains. Lane Staley's definitely a monster vocalist. Rest in peace. Allman Brothers. I mean, very important Southern rock band. Never really got super into them, but they have songs I love. Whipping Post, all time great song. Yeah, I'll probably put them in great. I'd really wish there was a way that I didn't have to scroll up and down so much. Animal Collective. I know they're quite critical faves, but I never really got into them. But I don't hate them. Maybe we'll go decent. The Animals. Definitely some all-time great tunes. Their version of House of the Rising Sun is great. Please don't let me be misunderstood. Great song as well. Yeah, so we'll put them in great. Anthrax, pretty good. Big Four metal fan. Metal, Big Four metal band. I do like Bring the Noise, what they did with Public Enemy there. Yeah, so we'll put good. Then we got some Arctic Monkeys. Yeah, I like a lot of stuff. Like I'm not necessarily super hardcore, but we'll say good. Audio Slave. I've actually seen Audio Slave live and Chris Cornell all time. Great vocalist. Of course, I do enjoy or prefer Chris Cornell as Soundgarden, and I prefer the rest of the band as part of Rage Against the Machine. But I like Audio Slave, so I will put them in good. Then Sevenfold. Never super got into them. I don't necessarily hate them. We'll say okay. We got Bare Naked Ladies. It's kind of a mixed one because I think in later years they did drop in quality and then eventually they just kind of became a bit of a gimmicky band and the gimmicks started to become less funny. But I love Gordon, like when they came out with that album. I also remember because I'm in Canada, so they had like the yellow cassette, and yeah, that was really big at the time. And I actually seen them live, and they're very entertaining live. And they do sometimes I call a little bit underrated because they do mix the silly, goofy stuff with some really great serious songs as well. And I love Brian Wilson. So I think they are a good band, even though they get slagged a bit. But they do have some songs that I think are a little bit annoying. Um, but we'll put them in good. The Beach Boys. We'll figure out exactly where to put them because Brian Wilson, all-time great genius. Some of the best songs ever. God only knows. I love that song. Gives me goosebumps. but I think they also are responsible for some of the worst songs ever as well. Like Kokomo is trash. Um, but I'm gonna go great. Um, because based on the best stuff, I mean, if I was just rating the best stuff, it'd probably be Amazing or Greatest of All Time. And I think Brian Wilson is a GOAT. But looking at the whole body of work, I think they've done a lot to unfortunately diminish their legacy. The Beatles, okay. This is an easy God tier. Well, I guess in this case it's GOAT tier, greatest of all time. So yeah, we don't have to discuss that too much. Back. I think he showed up on other tier lists, and I am a Beck fan. I think I mentioned before Odelay is like a five-star album for me, and I love Mellow Gold. And I don't know if Beck's ever put out an album that I would consider terrible. I'm a loser, baby. You go in the amazing tier. So what do we got next? Back Flag. Yeah, I really love Back Flag. Really important hardcore punk band. Apparently they've come back again, which I don't necessarily like. 'Cause it's almost like a totally new band with new younger performers, which is not the same as the original. So it's kind of like they're trying to capitalize on the name, but I'll pretend that doesn't exist. But yeah, the Damage is an all-time great hardcore album, very important hardcore band. We'll put them under amazing. The Black Keys. I do like the Black Keys. They do have some really good songs. I'll probably put them under, I'll say good. So what do we got next here? Blink 182. They have some songs I like. Um, but I wouldn't say I'm super hardcore into them. What's my age again? And actually, when that song came out, I was actually 23 years old, and there was a line that nobody likes you when you're 23. Um, but yeah, I'll put them as good. Blondie, some catchy songs. Call me, go, do, yes, you are great here. Here we got Blur. Don't mind Blur. Some songs I like. Put them as good. So it looks like we have to squint for the first time. Okay, Bob Dylan. I think it says bands, and I sometimes get confused on these lists where they say band and then there's not bands. I guess that's getting a little bit nitpicky. But yeah, Bob Dylan, all-time GOAT. Bob Dylan is a GOAT. Sorry for my really bad Dylan impersonation. Okay, is that Blue Oyster Cult? I think it needs more cowbell. I mean, I don't mind some of the stuff. I'll probably put it as good. Bon Jovi. I hate Bon Jovi. It's French for sucky rock band from New Jersey. You're the absolute worst. Boston. Then you got some catchy songs, and obviously More Than a Feeling is a fantastic song. And it was actually an influence on Nirvana. Kurt Cobain cited as an influence. But they also have some terrible stuff and a couple of really bad albums kind of later on in their career. Um, I'm gonna put it as decent. Okay, David Bowie, all-time great. He's a GOAT. Easy GOAT there. Okay, brand new. I guess they're okay. Then we got into them. Cage the Elephant. Don't mind what I've heard. There's only one song I can immediately think of off the top of my head, and that's the No Rest for the Wicked. Money doesn't grow on trees. And then there's some other lyrics, blah blah blah. Um, I guess they're okay. Cannibal Corpse. I know Jim Carrey's a big fan. I think they showed up in, was it Ace Ventura? Don't quote me on it. If you know, you can let me know in the comments. Like they appeared in one of the, I think it was Ace Ventura. I don't mind Cannibal Corpse for what they are. I don't listen to a lot of like extreme hardcore stuff, but I guess they're okay. Car seat headrest. Never fully got into them, but I guess they're okay. I still put them in decent. Cause I don't mind the cause. They got some catchy songs. I wouldn't say I'm hardcore into them, but they're a catchy power pop band. Uh, yeah, I'll put them in decent. Creedence Clearwater Revival. I do love them. Fortunate Son made my list of 100 best protest songs. So my first shameless plug, ongoing history of protestsongs.com. So do we got Amazing or Goat? We'll go Goat. I don't know, because I do really enjoy them, but I don't know if they quite make Goat tier for me. So yeah, I'm gonna put them as amazing. So this is shade below Goat. Chicago. Yeah, so this is an interesting one because they very Chicago I actually don't mind, and they have some songs that I'd probably put in the decent to good tier, but then kind of like 80s Chicago, it's like absolute garbage. It's horrible. Um, so yeah, if the area Chicago didn't exist, it'd be like the absolute worst. The other stuff's good enough that maybe I'll put in somewhat tolerable. Red Hot Chili Peppers, not necessarily a huge fan, but they have some stuff that I don't hate. Um, yeah, I'll put somewhat tolerable. The Clash, love the Clash. Don't know if you can see my shirt there. Um, but yeah, Clash is definitely GOAT. The only band that matters. At least that's how they were originally tagged, which I think they were close to that at different points. But yeah, I love the Clash, love Joe Strummer, Cold War Kids. There are some songs I don't mind. I'll say decent. Coldplay. This is a tricky one because this is almost like a tale of two bands because I love Coldplay when they first started. Parachutes, excellent album. Rush of Cold Blood to the Head. I love that album, 5-star album. Even a couple albums after that weren't bad, but then they totally took a noise, no, not noise, took a noise dive, no. So like they took a nose dive. So now they're like the absolute worst, but at one time I probably would have put them as amazing. So I don't know. We'll put them as okay. Don't know if I can make out the writing here. I'm surprised it took me this long to squint. Oh yeah, Cream. Cream, like really good. Influential power trio. Some great rock songs. I wouldn't say I hardcore got into them, but I have a lot of respect for them. I enjoy a lot of their stuff. So we'll put it in as great. And I guess they're one of the first kind of really big super groups. We when they first came out, I actually didn't mind them. I think I actually did have one of their, and it might have been the first album. It was the album with My Own Prison on it, which I think might have been called My Own Prison. And I like My Own Prison, but then some of the other stuff was kind of garbage, and Scott Stapp became really insufferable. Um, but I'll put somewhat tolerable. Then we got Crosby, Still, Nash. If they include a young, I'd probably put that amazing tier. Otherwise, the good. They have some songs that I like. Um, Good or great. I'm gonna put them under good. But like I said, if they had it young, probably amazing. The Cure. I really like The Cure. And the new album they put out in 2024 was actually a really nice return to form. Disintegration's an all-time great album. Yeah, I'll put amazing. I did a Cure deep dive and I enjoyed most of the albums, but obviously any band that's been around for a while are gonna have a couple of subpar albums. Then what do we got here? We got the Dandy Warhols. So I only really know a few songs. Was it Bohemian Like Me? And then the one that was like the theme song for Veronica Mars. To go. We used to be friends. I don't mind what I heard, but I'm not super familiar, so I'll just stick them in the decent. The Purple, some classic songs, some classic riffs. Never super got into them, but I do the stuff I like, I really like. We'll put them in great. Def Leppard, really not a fan. I guess there's some stuff I don't hate. So maybe they're better than bad. We'll put somewhat tolerable. Depeche Mode. Really like Depeche Mode. Violator is an excellent album. Consider that probably a five-star classic album. Yeah, so amazing. Yeah, I'll put Depeche Mode in amazing. Dire Straits. I don't mind Dire Straits. They have some songs that I like. Brothers in Arms was a decent album. Well, probably above decent. We'll put good. We got Disturbed. We don't like Disturbed. I guess Doubt the Sickness was kind of somewhat tolerable. I hate their cover of Sounds of Silence. And then the lead singer of Disturbed is kind of a douchebag. Um, I'll put bad because they are, if I judge it basically on music, they're all bands that are worse. And then what do we got here? The Doobie Brothers. Listen to the music. I mean, I don't necessarily mind the Doobie Brothers. I like Michael McDonald's distinctive voice. Otherwise, never done a super big deep dive, but we'll say they're good. Then we got the doors, break on through to the other side. So let's see. I mean, I do like the doors. I like Jim Morrison. Member of the 27 Club. I don't know if I'll go amazing or great. We'll go amazing. Like they are an excellent band, even though I don't quite put them as GOAT tier. Then we have okay, Dragon Force, not overly familiar. I don't know if I know. I think they showed up before and I forget where I ranked them. I think I might have put them like average just because I didn't know enough about them. But if I'm being totally honest, I think I'm just gonna put don't know because I'm really not familiar enough to give them any kind of ranking. Dream Theater, I never really got into Dream Theater, and I'm not really into proggy type music, but I don't necessarily absolutely hate them. We'll put somewhat tolerable. Duran. There was a time I absolutely hated them, and it's kind of probably because of like I don't know if they were ever viewed as boy band per se, but they were kind of poppy and they're kind of fluff, MTV fluff. But admittedly, they do have some legitimately catchy songs. Hungry Like a Wolf is a definite banger. So yeah, I will put good. Eagles, yeah, never we got into the Eagles. Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily hate them and their songs I like. I love Desperado. Hotel California is kind of overplayed. I'm gonna put decent. Okay, I'm gonna put okay. Um, ELO, Electric Light Orchestra. Don't mind them. Never super got into them. They have songs I don't mind, but I think they also borderline pretentious. Um, I'll put decent. Elton John. Yeah, I think we'll probably put him as great. I get he's an all-time classic singer and he does have a number of classic songs, and I do love the album. You know, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. He also has some stuff that's a little bit schmaltzy for me. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna go great. So let's see what we got here. Evanescence. I did see them live and they weren't bad live, and I do like Amy Lee. She's a as a vocalist. Some of the stuff I think's a little bit melodramatic, but I do actually love My Immortal. I think that's a beautiful song. We'll put it under good. Fall Out Boy. Never really got into. Um, okay or somewhat tolerable. We'll put okay. Single 11, they're not great. Trying to remember the name, because they had a couple songs that got a decent amount of play on Canadian radio. And I think there was one song that was even bigger outside Canada. It was kind of a ballad. I'm trying to remember how it goes, but I hated that song. I'll go bad instead of absolute worst. Fritz and the Tantrums. I do have one song I really like. It's more than just a dream. I'm trying to remember exactly how it goes, but I don't know a lot of stuff. I do remember seeing a clip of them playing a festival a few years ago. Um, I'll say decent. Flaming Lips. I do really love the Flaming Lips. Quirky Geniuses. Probably not quite GOAT, but we'll put amazing. I do love Yoshimi. Great album. Fleetwood Mac. Um, yeah, I don't know. They do have some stuff that I like. Never super got into them, but they're good. I'll put them in good. So we got Foo Fighters. I do really like the Foo Fighters. The debut album was pretty good. I did see them live. They played there was a festival called Somersault back, I think it was like 2000. Very entertaining live band. We'll put them as amazing. Foreigner, I don't know. It's you probably gotta learn from watching these tier lists and this one. It's never a total hardcore classic rock per se. And a lot of this comes down to the fact that, like, basically, I was like 14 when Nirvana came out. So I was more into the alternative thing. Um, but Four did have some really good classic songs. Um, so I would keep them at decent. Four is decent. I don't know the difference between decent and okay. Sometimes I get confused with these tier lists of how to decide to do the rankings. The Fray, I can only really think of that one song, How to Save a Life, which I don't like, probably mainly because it's overplayed. But I don't know enough to put them in bad, so I'll put somewhat tolerable. Fun's an interesting one because I think the first album was called Into a Night, and I think it was like 2009. And I liked that album when it came out. But then the next album was when they exploded. It was Some Nights, I forget the name. but that kind of lost me a bit. And some of the like more well-known stuff were kind of overplayed and kind of lost interest. But we'll put it somewhat tolerable. Genesis, I'm not a big prog fan, but I probably prefer their prog stuff over their 80s commercial stuff. And I definitely prefer Peter Gabriel over Phil Collins. I'll say decent. Then we got some Godsmack. Never really got into them, but I guess I don't hate them. We'll say okay. Then we got Squint again. Okay. Godspeed, you Black Emperor, which is really good. I do like them. The stuff. It can be a little bit challenging, but it's very experimental and interesting, and they make some really good political statements. So once again, shameless plug, I have heavily featured them on my website, ongoinghistoryofprotestsongs.com. So Godspeed, you're great. Goo Goo Dolls, yeah. There's some songs I don't hate, but some songs that are really obnoxious. We'll put somewhat tolerable. Gorillas, they're okay. Don't mind them. Probably prefer Blur a tad. Mind you, they're close. Where did I put Blur? The put Blur has good or decent. Oh, I don't even see Blur now. Okay, we'll keep you at okay. And we got Gautier. It's tough. If you only know one song from a band, where do you rank them? That's somebody I used to know was a good song, but it was somewhat overplayed. I'm just gonna go somewhat tolerable. Somebody I used to know. Grand Funk Railroad. I know Homer Simpson is a fan. I guess I don't mind them. I'll say decent. Grateful Dead, not a deadhead, never really got into them, but I do understand that they're important. Definitely pop cultural phenomenons. I guess we'll go decent. Green Day, they do have some stuff that I really enjoyed. Two Key, fantastic album, very nostalgic album. Don't mind American Idiot. Later on, they've released some terrible stuff. We'll put them at good. Green Day is good. Greta Van Fleet. I don't necessarily absolutely hate them. I've never listened to an entire album by them, but every song I've heard, it's like they're a decent Led Zeppelin knockoff. But if I want to listen to that, we'll probably listen to Led Zeppelin or the classic rock bands. But they're not terrible. They're just kind of generic knockoffs. But we'll put okay. Group Love. Don't mind them. We'll put them as decent. Guns N' Roses. This is a tough one. We don't like Axl Rose. But Appetite for Destruction's a fantastic album. Use Your Illusions. Bit uneven, but if they made that one album, it could have been one really good album. They definitely had some misfires. I'll put them as good. Oh, and Oates. Never really got into them. Yeah, I'm really not a fan, but I guess I can listen to it if I blow my brains out. I'll say somewhat tolerable. We got Heart. Don't mind Heart. They got some good songs. Yeah, so they're good. Jimi Hendrix. Jimmy is a goat. Easy goat. So there we go. We got next, Huey Lewis in the news. I mean, I don't hate let's say okay. Imagine Dragons, I do hate. Imagine Dragons, you're the absolute worst. The Bon Jovi tier. Taking a swig. We got some Incubus. Not too into them, but there are bands that are worse. I'll put somewhat tolerable. Okay, Insane Clown Posse, ICP. Definitely not a juggalo, but I don't want to say hate them. If anything, I kind of find the whole scene they build around them somewhat empowering. And they have songs that, even if they're unintentionally funny, I get a kick out of. Like there's that chicken hunting song that I get a kick out of, and there's the song about miracles, about magnets. What's the deal about magnets? So yeah, I even though the bad and cringe in certain ways, I do get a certain amount of enjoyment, so I'll put them in okay. Then what do we get next? We got some Iron Maiden. Run to the mill. Run to the mill. I'll put great. I definitely like One to Them Hills. It made my list of the 100 best protest songs of all time. So shameless plug. Ongoing history of protestsongs.com. But yeah, we'll put them great. They're a really good metal band. Janis Joplin. I do love Janis Joplin, and I did have a Janis Joplin box set. She has some fantastic songs. I don't know if she's ever had that one classic album though, but Powerhouse Singer. Unfortunately, she joined the 27 Club, but I'll put amazing. We got some. What do we got here? Jefferson Airplane. It's a good thing it's not Starship. I hate Starship. And I think you got to ding Airplane a bit because they share a lineage with Starship. Um, but they have some great songs, so we'll put them as great. Joan Jett and the Black Hearts. I like Joan Jett, and I think she's very important influence even on like the riot girl movement that kind of followed. I think it's another example of not having like any great classic albums, but some great kick-ass tunes. I'll put it under good. Then what do we got next? We got some Journey. Journey's a tricky one because at one point I absolutely hated Journey, but then they grew on me, and I had to admit that some of those songs that I thought were cheesy were actually great songs. And Don't Stop Believing is a great song. Still not something I'm super into, but they're decent. So what do we got next? Joy Division. I love Joy Division. The two albums they put out are both brilliant. But amazing. I don't think they quite make go, but I do enjoy them or enjoy them as much as you can because it's obviously music to listen to when you're bummed out. Judas Priest. I don't mind Judas Priest. They have songs I like. Breaking the law, breaking the law. Um, Good or great. I do prefer Iron Maiden. Where did I put Iron Maiden? Um, Iron Maiden was great. Somebody will stick Judas Priest in good. So what do we got next here? Can't quite make that out. Yeah, because I can't really make out the writing or gonna put it in don't know, and I'll apologize if it's a well known and I just don't know it. Okay, Cures. Cures have a lot of songs I like, and the Hot Fuzz album is pretty good. I put good or great. We'll put great. We got King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. So they just released 5 albums while I was doing this tier list. They're good, but they're hard to invest in. And I think that's partly because it's almost they're over prolific. Plus, it's hard to kind of peg them because each album kind of different genre wise. But they're good, and I did like their Infestor Rat Nest album. Was it in 2019 or 2020? But it was a pretty good protest album on the climate change. But yeah, we're saying good. And we got Squint again, King Crimson. Yeah, I'm not a prog guy. I know I'm Radio Music. They're like one of the most well-received bands out there, and they have a couple of albums that'll be heavily rated. But to me, I just never got into them. So this might I probably have a few borderline hot takes, but this might be my hottest take. King Crimson, the somewhat tolerable for me. I do like that 21st Century Schizoid Men song though. Kings of Leon. There are some songs I legitimately like, but I hate that use somebody song. Like that song just yeah, it makes me angry. Makes me irrationally angry. But the rest of their songs are good. I'll put somewhat tolerable overall, but yeah, I hate that use somebody song. The Kinks are good. They have some really good songs. The Awful album's a really good concept album. Also a very important proto punk band. Like You Really Got Me was really important in the development of punk, but they also grown as a band as well. I'll put them as great. Kiss, definitely not a member of the Kiss Army. They have some songs I don't mind, but to me they're more of a brand than a band. I'll put Kiss as okay. Corn. There's some stuff I don't mind. Freak on the Leash is a good saga. I'm just a freak on the leash. Guess you're okay to me. So what we got next? We got some. Oh yeah, we can't make that out, so I'll apologize if that's an emblem that I should recognize. All I have to put is don't know. Led Zeppelin definitely has some classic songs and some really good albums, but I never totally got into them. But like I said, some of the kick-ass songs are the best kick-ass rock songs out there. So we'll put them as amazing, but they don't make go for me. You got some Limp Bizkit, not good. Um, are they the absolute worst? They actually were touring with Corey Feldman, which there's like the morbidly curious part of me that would actually want to see that because that would be basically car wreck levels. Um, I'll go bad. Lincoln Park. I don't mind them, and rest in peace, Chester. Um, I'd probably put them as decent because I'm not hardcore into them, but I don't hate them by any means. The Lumineers, they're okay. M8 free, don't hate them. Nobody got into them. We'll put them as okay. What do we got here? We got a Machine Head. Don't mind Machine Head. They're an okay, all right, decent band. Yeah, I got more K's than decent, so we'll put in a decent. Basically a coin toss. And what do we have? We got Marilyn Manson. When Marilyn Manson first came out, I didn't mind. This is one of those, is it a him or a them? That's a band and a person. Um, had songs I didn't necessarily hate, but then Marilyn Manson also did a lot to damage his reputation. Um, I'll put somewhat tolerable. Maroon 5. I hate you, Maroon 5. I hate you, Adam Levine. You're the absolute worst. Matchbox 20. They're not good, but better than Maroon 5. So you're both bad. My Chemical Romance. Never super got into them. I don't know why, because I do really like the Welcome to My Black Parade album. I think that's the name of it. But it's basically a concept album dealing with cancer. And there's a song on it called Cancel that's actually is very emotional, gives me goosebumps. So I don't know why I've never done a deeper dive, but I'll put them as good. We got Meatloaf. Um, I do remember the Bad Out of Hell album, especially growing up, because my mom loved it, and she actually had it on 8 track. So I don't know how many people here remember 8 tracks. I guess any boomers watching it might. I'm a Gen Xer. Let's see. Some songs I don't mind, but also some garbage. Let's say somewhat tolerable. Megadeth. I mean, pretty good. Thrash metal band. Part of the big four of thrash. Um, and also a lot of really good protest political stuff. So, another shameless plug, ongoing history of protestsongs.com. Um, yeah, I'll put them as good. Metallica. This is a tough one because I think if you're just looking at their first 3 or 4 albums, yeah, Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning, Master Puppets, Justice for All. Those 4 albums are fantastic. And even the Black Album, it's a good album. Um, but then I think there's a noticeable drop from there, even though I don't mind some of the stuff off Load and Reload. Um, I do like them. There's a lot of stuff I like. I will put them as great. Metallica, you're great. Misfits, I do like a lot of the Misfit stuff, or at least the Glenn Danzig era of the Misfits. So we can't be fun. So I'll probably put them as great. Yeah, we need to take another swig here. And then we'll see what we got next. Modest Mouse. Yeah. So I don't want to say I initially got into them right from the beginning because my introduction was Float On, and I had that album. Good news for people who like bad news. I think I'm saying that right. But then I got into the regular stuff and really loved that as well. Um, so yeah, I do like their stuff. Don't know if they quite make amazing, but we'll put them as great. We got some monkeys. This is an interesting one. As a kid, I liked them because they had that. the TV show was on. I guess definitely in reruns, but I watched it a fair bit. And there are a lot of songs I found catchy. Then they became kind of uncool. Started viewing them as Beatle knockoffs. Knockoffs. They knocked up the Beatles. No, as Beatle knockoffs. But then as I got older, I started to appreciate them a bit more. So they're decent. I might even put them as good. They do got some catchy songs that you can't deny. And Stepping Stone is definitely a really good punky tune. The Moody Blues, never really got into them. It's not my thing. I'm just gonna put okay. Soy Moody Blues fans, Motley Crue. Yeah, not never got too keen into them. There's some stuff I don't mind. We'll put them as decent. Motorhead, Lemmy is God. They have a lot of songs I like. I do love Ace of Spades. Ace of Spades. But it's great. Puddle of Mud. I'm just realizing how long ass this list is. Yeah, Puddle of Mud is terrible. Yeah, I'd say the absolute worst. Garbage. Then who do we got next? Mumford and Sons. Yeah, so this is an interesting one. When they first came out, I actually didn't mind them. My introduction was actually I got an email from Pure Tracks, which I don't think even exist anymore. But I got a bunch of Pure Tracks codes because they had a promotion with toothpaste. So you buy toothpaste and you got free music downloads. And I signed up for the newsletter. So the track of the week was Sigh No More. And I loved that song. That song was gorgeous. And the album was pretty good. But then they dropped off a cliff a bit afterwards. And I kind of lost interest in them. But we'll put them as okay. What do we got next? We got some My Morning Jacket. I do like My Morning Jacket. I do like Jim James. Um, we'll put good. My Morning Jacket is good. Let's do a little bit of a pause. Our next band is The Neighborhood. I believe they're the ones that did that song Sweater Weather, I think. I'm not 100% sure. Um, if they are, I don't mind the Sweater Weather song, but I'm just gonna put them in don't know because I don't feel confident enough to rank them. So we got Neutral Milk Hotel, which I do really like. Yeah, classic album with the airplane, Flies High. Um, I'll put them as amazing. Nickelback. Yeah, I don't think they're as bad as they get slagged. I actually watched the documentary on that. It was kind of interesting. They actually have songs that I don't necessarily absolutely hate. Like when they first came out before they were worldwide massive. They had some success in Canada, and there was a video on Much Music called Leader of Man. I actually like that song. I didn't mind This Is How You Remind Me the first 100 times I heard it. Then it became obnoxious. Um, so I'm going to put Somewhat Tall because I don't absolutely hate them. I think the biggest problem with Nickelback is they're just generic, so they're overrated by default. Mighty overrated, that's a hard one because they get slagged a lot, but they are one of the more commercially successful bands. So someone back when people still bought albums, someone was buying their albums and someone was streaming their music and buying the concert tickets. Okay, I love Nine Inch Nails. Easy Goat Tier. Downward Spiral is one of my all-time favorite albums, especially in my teenage years. That was kind of like a dark time in my life, and that Trent Reznor kind of helped provide that soundtrack. So he was definitely able to articulate a lot of the things I was going through. So yeah, easy goat tier. Nirvana, also easy goat tier. I already discussed this, I think, in a couple of videos. Nirvana and Kurt Cobain were musical gateway drugs for me. So yeah, when it comes to just my personal development, I don't think there's a band more important than Nirvana. There might be bands I now enjoy listening to more, but Nirvana is by far the most important band when it comes to my own individual musical development. Oasis, they're fine. There's some songs I don't hate. Wonderwall's a good song, but Oversaturation, I'll put decent. So what we got next? The Offspring. I actually owned Smash on CD when it came out. And songs like Self-Esteem and Keep 'Em Separated are decent enough songs, but then some of this stuff's kind of cringe. Um, I'll put somewhat tolerable. They're probably better than that. But like I said, some of this stuff's kind of cringe. I'll put okay because I do have some decent songs that are fun to rock out to as well. One Republic. I do not like One Republic. Are they the absolute worst? Yeah, I don't think the Maroon 5 bad. I think the Matchbox 20 bad. So put you in bad. Okay, looks like we got a squint again. We got some. Probably gonna kick myself for not recognizing it. But the size of the font's too small for me, so we gotta put it in I don't know. I do really like Pantera. Walk is a good song, the theme for Rob Van Dam. Um, I'll say, are they good or great? I'll go great. I do really like Pantera. Papa Roach, the only song we know is Last Resort, which I don't think I mind when it came out, but then it sort of became, I guess, a little bit overplayed. This is my last resort. Don't really know too much of anything else. We'll put it as okay. Then we got Paramore. I don't mind Paramore. Um, Never hardcore got into them, but there's never been anything I dislike. We'll just say decent. What do we got? We got some Pavement. I like Pavement. Never hardcore got into them. Um, so I don't think they're absolute genius, but they don't have anything I hate either. So we'll just say good. Good for Pavement. Pearl Jam. I love Pearl Jam. That was actually my first concert was a Pearl Jam, Neil Young, Double Bill. And at the time, I was actually more of a Pearl Jam fan. This was actually 10 was the only album they had out at the time, and I loved 10. I got into Neil Young after seeing him live. Um, I loved them. There's like 10 brilliant album. First, there's brilliant albums. I told you it was a really good album, but slightly uneven. I also really like No Code. There's been a drop off since then, but I know they still have a good reputation as a live band. But I think they've done I don't know if they quite make Goat. Um, yeah, I don't think they quite make Goat here. Probably like them a bit better than CCR, even though I'm not doing this 100% in order. Um, But yeah, I'll put Pearl Jam is amazing. Just the shade below gold. And then we got what do we got? Oh, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Yeah, I did really like them. They got some classic songs. Free, free fall. Now, it was Free Fall and Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers or just Tom Petty? Not 100% sure, but I'll link them all together. Uh, Good or great? I think I'll put great. Free, free falling. Got some fish. Yeah, not particularly into fish, not my thing. I realize they're a cult phenomena. But yeah, I'm not a fish head. Is fish head a thing? I know it's deadheads. I don't know. Either way, I'm definitely not a fish head. We'll put somewhat tolerable. Sorry for you fish heads, if fish head's the thing. Pink Floyd. I like Pink Floyd. Some of the more proggy stuff's not for me, but they have some classic stuff. I love The Wall. Um, I don't think they quite make it to gold. I actually seen them live in 1994 as well. So that's around the time of Division Bell. And it's also when they put out that live disc Pulse that kind of had like the little blinking thing on it. Uh, so yeah, I'll put Amazing for Pink Floyd. They don't quite make goat tier for me. So we got some Pixies. I love the Pixies. Doolittle's all-time classic goat album for me. And I love like Surfer Rosa as well. And also part of the connection is because I love Nirvana and Pixies. Well, very important Genesis kind of lead into Nirvana. Don't know if they quite make out because I don't necessarily want to fault the band for making a comeback because still got to make a living and maybe they legitimately enjoy playing music. But I think it does sometimes hurt a band legacy a bit because part of the Pixies' legacy was they initially kind of broke up when they were still in their prime. But I'm gonna put Amazing, not quite go, but I do love them. But I want to be very strict when it comes to goat. Just not anybody can be a goat. The Police, I don't mind the Police. They have some songs I don't mind. I really don't like Sting for whatever reason. The Police have some good songs. I'm gonna put them at good. What do we got here? Can't make that out. So if anyone recognized that, you can slag me for not knowing it if it's obvious. So it looks like most of the don't knows are because I don't recognize the font. Okay, Prince, love Prince. I did a deep dive, and I guess the one thing I will say about his deep dive is it is a little bit uneven because Prince was not always the best at kind of editing himself. And I'll say the same thing about Bob Dylan, who I put in the GOAT tier. But the thing with Prince was he was so brilliant. His best work is some of the best music ever recorded. So it's the same reason why you would put Bob Dylan as GOAT, even though he had some misfires. So yeah, Prince is a GOAT. Pulp, I like Pulp. They're a good band. I did just recently did a 94 deep dive and the album there was a good album. Not 94, and it's no actually they had an album 94 and 95, and I like both albums. Prefer the 94 one. Is it different classes? I'm trying to remember the name of it. But yeah, I'll put them as good. Good or great? Yeah, I'll stick with good. So what do we got next here? Creed. Yeah, they shown up on most tier lists I did. So if you bothered watching any of those, you have a rough idea. Like I don't mind Queen. There's some songs I like. Freddie Mercury, all-time great vocalist, but I don't absolutely love them. They haven't really had that classic album for me, but I will put them as great. I do love Bohemian Rhapsody. Mama, I just killed a man. Put a gun against his head. He's in a tear. That is great. Sorry, that was terrible. What do we got now? We got Queens of the Stone Age. They're fine. I'd probably put Queens of the Stone Age is good. Yeah, I think good. Don't have a problem with them. Maybe there's a quicker way of scrolling up and down here. The video would probably be a lot shorter if we could do that as well. Love Radiohead. Absolute goat tier. And I recently did a tier list Radiohead video where I did a tier list ranking of all their albums. And also, another shameless plug, I did a list of Radiohead protest songs on my website. So ongoing history of protestsongs.com. You can check that out. Idiotex, an all-time great protest song. Climate change, love Radiohead. Rammstein, Du hast mich. I don't mind Rammstein. I've never done a super deep dive, but I like what I've heard. We'll put Rammstein in good. Du hast mich getting good. Ramones, love the Ramones. All-time great band for me. Absolute GOAT. Very influential punk rock band. Love the Ramones. Here we go. Here yo. Let's go. Got Rage Against the Machine. Love Rage Against the Machine. Of course, heavily featured on my website. Shameless plug. Ongoing history of protestsongs.com. Fudge you, I won't do what you tell me, motherfudger. So let's see. Not quite go. I think I'll stick them in amazing. But I do really like Rage. Oh yeah, do we like Oh yeah? Had some all-time classic songs and some really good albums. I love Document. Document's like a five-star album for me. We'll put them as amazing. Still want to be kind of picky with who gets the goat. So what do we got here? Oh, yo, Speedwagon. Yeah, kind of a schmaltzy band. I really don't like their stuff. Not for me. Can't fight this feeling anymore. You're all a band that is bad. Sorry, that's kind of terrible, but not the absolute worst. So we'll put them in bad. Rush, I do like Rush. Some of the stuff gets a bit froggy, but there's some stuff that I have to acknowledge is legitimately good. Obviously, a high level of musicianship and the Canucks, fellow Canucks. I love Tom Sawyer. I'll put great. So what do we got next? Love Black Sabbath. Rest in peace, Ozzy Osbourne. Another shameless plug. On my website, I posted a list of 15 Black Sabbath slash Ozzy Osbourne protest songs. Sometimes they get overlooked with their contribution to protest music. And of course, War Pigs is one of the best protest songs of all time. But yeah, I'll put them in gold tier. Definitely the most important metal band of all time. You wouldn't have heavy metal without them. Then we got some. What do we got here? Saint Motel. I'm gonna be honest. Do not know who that is. Don't know. Who do we got next? Is that Santana? I think that's Santana. Don't mind some of the stuff. I really don't like don't want to say New Montana, Montana. Sorry, getting tongue tied. That's what happens with these long ass videos. Uh, yeah, I don't want to say New Santana because it's probably like over 20 years ago now. But I didn't like Smooth and all that. The 70s Santana and the performance at Woodstock and stuff was pretty good. Um, I'll say good. I don't necessarily absolutely love them, but some of the stuff is legitimately kick ass. Got some Scorpions. They're fine. Uh, Decent or good. I'll say decent. Got some Sex Pistols. So it's tough because you're basically ranking it on one album. But I do love Nevermind the Bollocks. And I do love like God Save the Clean. Gotta keep things clean. No, God Save the Queen and Anarchy in the UK. It is an important album. Unfortunately, I think Johnny Rotten has tarnished his reputation a bit in recent years. But the album itself, classic album. Uh, but because it's just one album, I don't think we can go GOAT. So we'll put Amazing. Leonard Skinner. I mean, really good Southern rock band. They have some songs that kick ass. Um, Southern Man, Don't Need You Around Anyhow. Um, I'll put Great. What do we got next? Slayer. I like Slayer. Pretty good. Big Four thrash band. I mean, I'll basically compare them to the other Big Four thrash bands. So probably between Getty and Great. Do I like them better than Anthrax? Probably like them a tad better than Anthrax. So we might go Great. But I put Megadeth. I probably like them comparable to Megadeth. And Megadeth is great or good. Yeah, I don't see Megadeth. I'll just put them as great. Don't want to over. Okay, Megadeth is good. Yeah, I'll keep Slayer as good because it is a step behind Metallica. We got Slipknot. I don't mind Slipknot. I do love Raining Blade. It's a great song. Um, Never done a super deep dive into them. But we'll put Slipknot into good. We got some Smashing Pumpkins. This is an interesting one because I do love early Smashing Pumpkins, like Gish, good album. Siamese Dream, classic five-star album. Melancholy, Infinite Sadness, classic five-star album. Even Adore, pretty good album. But then there's been a noticeable drop, and when they reformed, most of that stuff is not great. So I think they did a lot to tarnish the legacy a bit. And Billy Corgan, I think, has done a lot to tarnish the legacy. And I also seen them live in 2000. I think I mentioned the Summer Salt Festival where I seen the Foo Fighters. They were disappointing live. Um, so yeah, I think they've done enough to kind of tarnish their legacy. Otherwise, I probably would have had them as amazing. I loved them in my teens. But I'm gonna put them as great. So still excellent rock band, Smash Mouth. Hey now, you're an all-star, get your game on, go play. I'll put Somewhat Tolerable. That song's overplayed, but it's catchy, and they have other songs I don't necessarily hate. Love the Smiths. Just like I said about Billy Corgan, Morrissey, I think, has done a some to kind of tarnish his legacy a bit. But the one great thing about the Smiths is they never got back together. So they basically called it a day while they're still in their prime. So they never put out a bad album and have a couple of like all-time classics. So I'm actually gonna put the Smiths as GOATs. And I really love a girlfriend in a coma. I know I'm kind of dark that way. Like I really like Sonic Youth, great band, very important. An example of how Nirvana was a musical gateway drug, because Kurt Cobain we cited Sonic Youth as a big time influence, and that's why Nirvana signed to Geffen Records because Sonic Youth did. I'll put Sonic Youth as amazing. They don't quite make go for me, but I do love Sonic Youth. Soundgarden, I do really like Soundgarden. I've seen them live. I mentioned the first concert I seen was the Yo Young Pearl Jam double bill. Soundgarden was one of the opening acts with Blues Travelers. Um, so yeah, they were good live. Felt a little bit bad for them because it was Exhibition Stadium, which doesn't exist anymore. But it was still half empty because people were still making their way in. And it was still kind of like late afternoon, so it was still kind of light out. But they were good live. Chris Cornell's a beast. I'd say they're an amazing band. At the time, this was before Super Unknown, so not the only album, because they had a few albums out, but the last album they had out was Bad Motorfinger. And that's actually the era of Soundgarden I prefer. I'm one of those Bad Motorfinger guys. That's my favorite Soundgarden album. What we got next? We got some Twisted Sister. We're not gonna take it, which is a catchy song. I'll put okay. I'll put decent. They have a couple of songs that they're fine. We got Stone Temple Pilots. Probably like them better than what I used to, because I used to kind of have a negative view of them being um, Pearl Jam ripoffs, which I think was a little bit unfair. And they kind of grown out of that a bit. And I probably like Scott Weiland, rest in peace, a bit too much. Um, yeah, I'll put as decent. Rolling Stones. Obviously, all-time great classic band, a lot of classic songs. Exile Main Street is a fantastic album. Um, they don't quite make it go for me. I'm putting them in amazing. Um, don't know if this is an unpopular take or not, but I know they're still a big band and they still make a lot of money as a concert draw. So I don't want to fault them. But in my mind, it kind of hurts their legacy a bit because they're almost a nostalgia act. Like they basically people go to see them play the hits, which is fine. But what's the last time they put out a classic album, a classic tune? But yeah, they're amazing. They're really good. We're keeping it that. So what do we got? We got some, is that Stooges? I think that's Stooges. If it's not Stooges, I guess the font was bigger on some of these. I'm just gonna pretend it's the Stooges. I do love the Stooges, and I love Iggy Pop. Very important proto metal band, kind of like Godfathers of pop. Put it as amazing, not quite goat tier. What do we got next? The Strokes. I like the Strokes. They were very important in the garage rock revival of the 2000s, which you probably could argue was the most important rock movement of the 2000s. The only one that you can probably compare in terms of commercial success is like nu metal, and I really don't like nu metal. Uh, I put the Strokes good or great. I'll put them as great. Very significant band, and I do like them. They have some great songs. Sticks, I really don't like. Come sail away, come sail away. I guess you are bad. It's not quite absolute worst. Swans, I do like Swans. They're a band that kind of grew a bit, like they initially started as I'll say challenging listening because I don't want to say unlistenable because I didn't necessarily mind the race stuff. But then they started developing to a little bit more of a, I guess still could be challenging, but kind of had more kind of folky elements and they do have a couple of albums that are five-star albums to me. I'll probably I'll put them as amazing because I do really like them. They do have some excellent albums. Sweet, sweet. I think they were Ballroom Blitz. Are they a one-hit wonder? If anyone else knows that Sweet Slot, let me know. I'll probably kick myself for not knowing. The song's catchy. It's fine. I'll just put it as okay. System of a Down. I do really like System of a Down. And I have featured them a few times on my website, ongoinghistoryofprotestsongs.com. Shameless plug. We'll put them as great. T-Rex. I like T-Rex. They're fine. Haven't done a deep dive, so I'm not even sure if I'd listen to an entire T-Rex album. But I like what I've heard. Let's put it as good. And remember, this is multiple. It's a long ass video and I'm getting tongue tied. Yeah, so it's good to keep in mind that this is basically my opinion, so I'll try not to take any of this too seriously. But if you want to yell at me in the comments, that's fine. I actually would appreciate more engagement, but I'm not intentionally trying to rage bait anybody. Yeah, I do really love Talking Heads. They have some great albums. I'll put Amazing. Stop Making Sense is one of the all-time great concert films. Tame Impala's fine. Don't mind them. Decent or good. I'll stick with decent. Yeah, they're fine. Yeah, some Tenacious D. Yeah, I really enjoy Jack Black. Tenacious D, they're a great comedic band. I think there's a ceiling of how far you can go with it, but I'll put them as good. They're fine. Okay, gotta squint again. Okay, them Crooked Vultures. So a little bit of a super group. They're fine. Don't have a problem with them. They disappeared on me. Yeah, so put them in the decent tier. Then we got Tool. I like Tool. Where would we rank Tool? Some of the videos are kind of disturbing. If we go to stick with good, don't mind them. Who do we have next? 21 Pilots. Never got into them. But they're not bad, but put somewhat tolerable. Total. Yeah, actually, I really don't like that song Africa. And that Rosanna song, Patty about Rosanna Arquette, don't really like that either. Um, just the better than Puddle of Mud. I'll put them bad, not the worst. Yeah, I don't like Train. Train's absolute worst. Garbage. Twisted Sister again, didn't I already rank them? It's like someone messed up and put the same band twice. So I remember I ranked them before. I think I had them as decent. I had them as okay or decent, I think. We'll just put them as decent. We're not good to get. Okay, U2. Do we like U2? Seen them live and I was disappointed. And I think they've hurt their legacy a bit. Because they have a couple of albums that weren't particularly great. They pissed off a lot of people when they gave the album away for free without permission. So I never understood why people were that pissed off because it was free. But the album itself wasn't necessarily the best album. Um, and Bono can be a little bit insufferable. But they have some classic albums too. I love Joshua Tree. Did I do amazing or great? We'll stick with great. What do we got next? Muse. I don't mind the Muse. Would I put decent or good? Probably good. So let's see what we got next. Vampire Weekend, don't mind them. We'll probably stick that in the good tier. Van Morrison. He does have some classic albums and songs, and Into the Mystic, great song. His last couple of albums are terrible. And he had that one album which was basically a protest album, kind of a very like right-wing leaning protest album. And that was absolute garbage. So I might have heard his legacy a bit, but the classic stuff is classic. So I'll put him under amazing. What do we got? Is that Van Halen? Yeah, Van Halen. I like Van Halen, and obviously Eddie's an all-time GOAT guitarist. Song-wise, I'm kind of mixed because some of the stuff does have like cheesy 80s arrangement, which isn't necessarily my thing, but there's some classic stuff. Panama is a great song. I'll go is great. So what we got next? Velvet Underground. I do love the Velvet Underground. Also considered one of the first alternative rock bands. Where do we rank them? Probably not quite GOAT. We'll stick them as amazing tier. We got the Verb. Oh, they're good. Bittersweet Symphony. It's a good song, slightly overplayed. It's kind of tragic that they ended up actually losing money on that song because of the uncleared sample. So they actually made the Rolling Stones a lot of money. Um, they have a couple other songs I like. There's a song, The Drugs Don't Work, which is a great song. Um, I'll stick them at good. Ween's a great. I actually done like a Ween deep dive not that long ago. Because prior to the deep dive, the only song I really know was the Pushing the Little Daisies. I think that's what it was called. And I got a kick out of that song. Uh, they're a band that's kind of all over the place musically, and they can be an acquired taste. But they're all gifted musicians, and a lot of their stuff I do get a kick out of because I do got a sixth sense of humor. I'll put them as great. Weezer. Weezer's an interesting one. First two albums, brilliant. The Blue Album, classic. Every song kicks ass. Pinkerton, I love that album. Then there's a drop in quality. They've had some good songs, but they've had some absolute garbage. I hate their cover of Africa, even though they basically it's almost the same as Total's version. Um, so these are Tarot 2 bands. I'll put them as great. If I pretended that the second half didn't exist, I'd probably put them as amazing. Or if it was only yeah, but yeah, I can't really pretend that the garbage stuff doesn't exist. Oh, I love the White Stripes. Easy goat here. Actually, recently did a video on Jack White, five Jack White bands that kind of predated the White Stripes, but I'm actually happy that they're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm hoping that there's a reunion with Jack White and Meg White, but I have a feeling there might not be because Meg White might not even show up because she is a little bit introverted, which is fine. You gotta respect someone's privacy. Hopefully, Meg White is doing well. We got The Who. There's a lot I love about The Who. Trying to think if they make Go To or not. The best stuff is the best stuff of all time. Unpopular take, I do think Tommy is extremely overrated. Don't really like Tommy. Who's Next is an all-time great album. Love Baba O'Reilly, Won't Get Fooled Again. So yeah, we'll put them in GOAT tier. Wilco, I do like Wilco. Yankee Foxtrot Hotel is an excellent album. Trying to think if I go great or amazing. I think we'll stick with great. So we got some yes. You probably already know from these videos and even from this one, I'm not a prog guy. I got some stuff I don't hate, but I'm not a big time Yes fan. So we'll stick with decent. Zappa. So basically Frank Zappa. I do like a lot of Frank Zappa stuff. Uh the Don't Eat the Yellow Snow Sweet. I agree, you get a kick out of that. Some of the stuff hasn't aged quite as well. And some of his humor is definitely sophomoric, but I also have a twisted sense of humor, so some of the stuff I enjoy more than what I should. But we'll put him in the great tier. 13th floor elevator. They have a really good cover of Bob Dylan's Baby Blue song. Um, Never super done a deep dive, which I have to do. I like the stuff I've heard, so we'll put them in good tier. Cake, I like a lot of Cake stuff. I love Comfort Ego, that's a great album. I'll probably put them at great. So Cake is tasty, delicious, so I shouldn't have done the fruit puns. Can't go full. Really good, influential, important post-punk band. Don't necessarily listen to a lot of them, but so I'll probably just put great, but I do like what I like. Royal Blood, don't mind them. Pretty good. Rock and roll tag team, so a power duo. Put them as good. We got the Stranglers. I mean, they're good. They're a good punk band. So yeah, we'll put good cheer. We got Yardbirds, which they have a couple of good songs that I like. But I think the most important thing about the band is who used to be a member of the band. So I think the legacy is more important than the actual band. Like, yeah, Eric Clapton was in the band and Jimmy Page and Jeff Beck. And I'm probably missing some people. But yeah, the band themselves, they're good. Fugazi, I love Fugazi. And I love Ian Mackay. Also love Minor Threat. Don't know if they're, I guess they're probably not on here. So I don't know if they quite make GOAT, but very important DIY straight edge band. We'll put Fugazi as amazing. Interpol, they're fine. Um, are they good or decent? I'll go decent. Don't have a problem with them. Modern Lovers, Jonathan Richman. They're good. Pablo Picasso. Was he an asshole? I don't know. Discuss among yourself if whether or not Pablo Picasso was an asshole. So what we got here? I have a tough time making up the fonts, so we'll just say don't know. Don't mind some of my Bloody Valentine, but never super got into them. We'll just put them as decent. Don't mind shoegaze, but it's not something I hardcore got into. I do really enjoy New Order. I probably prefer Joy Division. But New Order obviously is the more accessible side of the coin. But I do have some classic songs of a great television. I do like a lot of television stuff. Marquee Moon's a classic album. Probably put it as great. 10 years after. They're fine. I think I might have ranked them when I did Woodstock tier list, like a 69 Woodstock tier list. They were a decent jam band, and that's where I'll put them. We'll put them as decent. We got Breaking Benjamin. I've seen them live, but not intentionally. Um, they were opening for Evanescence. They were fine, I guess somewhat tolerable. The Brian Jonestown Massacre, don't mind them. Not something I listen to a lot, but we'll probably put them as decent. We got some Deaf Heaven. Don't mind them, but never super got into them. But I'll put them as decent. We got some, is that Death from Above? Yeah, Death from Above, 1979. Yeah, they have a lot of stuff that I like. Uh, I'll probably put good. And I know the Canadian, not that that means too much. Deftones, I guess I don't hate them. We might put Deftones. It's okay or decent. And once again, I don't see there being a big difference, so it's a coin toss. I'll just put Deftones. We'll put them as decent. So I guess they're slightly better than some of those other bands there. Eels, I don't mind them. I do love the album Electroshock Blues. That's a 5-star album for me. I love that album. And there's a song called Dead of Winter that I get teary eye when listening to it. But it's basically a concept album about losing his mom to cancer. And I think it was his sister that died of suicide. So it's a very emotional album. There was also some stuff I was going through when it came out. So it kind of hits me on an emotional level. So that album would probably make go, but I'm looking at his entire body of work, so I'll put amazing. Glass Animals, I don't hate them, but I don't say love them either. We'll just put okay. What do we got? Is that Haken? But know that name? Don't know if I recognize that name. So now we're starting to get into some bands that maybe I don't know. So we'll put don't know. I don't think I know this name. Is it Jynx? Apologize if there's something that I should know. So don't know. And what do we got here? Okay, Low Cut Connie. Don't mind them, but never super. I'm only vaguely familiar. So I'll just put okay. Maybe I should put don't know, but I'll put okay. MGMT. I don't mind them. I'll just put decent. Don't hate them, but don't necessarily love them. Okay, looks like it's Prophets of Rage. So it's a member of Rage Against the Machine, but it also has Chuck D, a Public Enemy. It's actually named after a Public Enemy song. It also has I'm Gonna Kick Myself, Be Real from Cypress Hill. The stuff was fine. Obviously, all the original projects were better. So I'll just put it as okay. But it was fine for what it was. Traveling Wilburys, they have some good songs. I mean, they're fine. They're a decent super group. Obviously, just about everyone in the band were better outside of the group. but I'll put decent. Bad Company. Don't hate them. I'll just put decent. The Birds. They were good, kind of folk rock band. I'll put good. What do we got next? Cheap Trick. Yeah, they're good power pop band. Live in Budokan was a fun album. I want you to want me. I guess we'll put good. What do we got next? Hatebreed. I know them, but I'm trying to think. Do I know? I don't think I particularly care for what I heard, but I don't know if I know enough to get my ranking. So I am gonna put them in. I don't know. Jethro Tull. I'm not a big Jethro Tull fan. Aqualung's a great song. The album is fine. Nothing else really hits me. I'm just gonna put them as okay. Sorry, Jethro Tull fans. So what do we got here? Master Do, Little Mastodon. I mean, they're fine for what they are. I'll put decent. Primus. They have a lot of songs I like. My name is Mud. Les Claypool is a really good bassist. A lot of stuff's kind of quirky. I'll put good. So what do we got next? We got some Sepultura. I like Sepultura. I talked about them a lot on my, maybe not a lot, but they made a couple of my albums list. Like I did an album list for like the 90s, and they had a couple of albums that made the best protest albums list. I'll put good. Shame, not overly familiar. So we'll have to put don't know. What we got here, Steely Dan, so I never got into them. Guess there's some stuff I don't hate. I'm just gonna put somewhat tolerable. I really like Franz Ferdinand. They were a pretty good rock band. So yeah, we'll put good. I think good's a appropriate spot for them. The Kooks, they're fine. We'll probably put decent. Decent, yeah, that's fine. Temple of the Dog. I mean, basically, you're ranking this on one album, so there's a ceiling on of how high it can go. But it's an excellent album, so I don't know if I'll do amazing or great. I'll probably stick with great. I do love Hunger Strike. That's an all-time great tune for me. Um, yeah, so great it is. And Chris Cornell's a beast, and on Hunger Strike, just the interplay of Chris Cornell and Eddie Vedder. It's yeah, brilliant. So what do we got here? Don't know what that is because it's black and I can't really make it out. So I'm gonna have to say, oh, Viagra Boys. Okay, don't know who chose the black font. I don't mind Viagra Boys. Um, yeah, so Viagra Boys. Do we go good or decent? We'll stick with decent. We got some. What do we got? Dirty Money. Do I know Dirty Money? Gonna kick myself. I should know it. So we're gonna just say don't know. Eagles of Death Metal. Never really got into them, but I don't necessarily hate them. We'll just say okay. Sleep, we'll stick with okay. Stone Roses. They have some good songs. And the first album was good. Yeah, I'll put Stone Roses is good. Suede, I don't know. They're fine. We'll probably put Suede is decent. So we got Super Trip. They do got some songs that I don't mind, but they're also a little bit proggy. I guess a little bit proggy, but there's also the sound is just, I guess, too commercial polish or whatever you want to call it. I guess I'm too snobby, but we'll go decent. Death Grips. I like Death Grips. They're one of those bands that people tend to love or hate. So I'm probably a little bit of an outlier because I don't love or hate them, but I do find them interesting. So I'm gonna put them in good tier. Idols. Past couple of albums they did, I wasn't as keen on, but I like the first couple, and I do love Joy as an Act of Resistance. That was an excellent album. So I'll probably go good for Idols. So what do we got next? Supergrass. I mean, it's good. It's fine. Probably decent. I'll put it decent. We got The Garden. Don't know if I recognize that band name. If I should know it, I'm sorry. Don't know Wings. They're fine. I do hate Surrey love songs. Or that Paul McCartney solo. I'm not sure. Bad on the One's a great song. I'm just gonna put them at decent. Um, don't know if I recognize this. Yeah, I can't make it out. So we're gonna have to put you as I don't know. Put me to Horizon, define. Don't love them, don't hate them. We'll put them as okay. Looks like, is that Captain Beefheart? I think that's Captain Beefheart. Captain Beefheart. Um, some of the stuff's obviously not easy to listen to, but some of it I do get a kick out of and I can appreciate. I'll put it under decent. Um, what do we got next? We got some Fontaines DC. I like them, like they're fine. Um, I'd probably put them as they disappeared on me. Where did you go, Fontaine DC? I lost them, otherwise I probably would have put them in good, but I don't want to spend 10 minutes looking for a band. So we're gonna say they're good, but they might be at a different level. Pale Waves, can't really say I know them. Sum 41. Yeah, I actually appeared in a Sum 41 music video. I think it was the first video they did, and they had to re-record it. But I was shot with a Super Soaker. There was a video for Makes No Difference. I actually made a video about it that you can find on my channel. So I kind of explained what happened. So I won't get into all of the details. But I'll put them as decent. Some of the stuff's catchy. I don't hate them. Yeah, yeah, yes. Don't mind them. We'll probably say good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So good. Map's a great song. Dead Kennedys. I love the Dead Kennedys. Really great political rock band. Also love Joe Biafra. So where do we rank you? Probably amazing. So there we go. I love Holiday in Cambodia. And then you can't get more precise or succinct than the sentiment of Nazi punks. Fuck off. And then what we got here is at the Hollies. Definitely diverse selection of bands all over the map. I like the Hollies. I know they had a number of hits, but the only one I can immediately think of is "He Ain't Heavy, He's My Brother," which I do love that song. They do "The Air I Breathe." I think they do "The Air I Breathe," which I like. I'll put it as good. I know Graham Nash was in the Hollies. Placebo. Trying to think. Because I know who Placebo is, and I know they had a few songs. The only one I can immediately think of is that song "Pure Morning," which had that line, "A friend in needs, a friend indeed, friend with weed is better." I don't mind them. I'll put them as decent. Poison. I don't know. I mean, Heavy Rose has its thrones. I do kind of like that song. I know I use guilty pleasure. I guess they're better than somewhat tolerable. I'll put Poison is okay. Still not really into the glam hair metal thing. Skillet, I believe they're like a Christian metal band. Do I know? I don't know if I know enough of them to rank them, so I'll just put don't know. Daft Punk, I like some of their stuff. Um, I'll just put decent. Do you remember that video with the dog with the boombox? Get Lucky's kind of annoying. Who was Stink? They're terrible. Absolute worst. Garbage. Turnstile. I mean, I like Turnstile. They're fine. That's not Turnstile. That's Hootie and the Blowfish. Yeah, Hootie and the Blowfish is somewhat tolerable. Don't know where I've seen Turnstile. Okay. Don't know what happened there. I'm kind of having a weird moment. Oh, there's Turnstile. Okay. I accidentally moved them over there instead. But yeah. So we got, what do we got here? Black or Black Meaty. It's they're fine. Never super got into them, but I don't necessarily hate them. So we'll just put them as okay. Block Party. Don't mind Block Party. We'll probably put them as decent. And what do we got? The Hives. I like the Hives. The Hives are fine. We'll probably put the Hives as good. So I think that's good there. Jet's fine. They're kind of like the second tier or even third tier of those garage rock bands, but they got some catchy songs. I'm just gonna put them as okay. Kaiush, if I pronounced that wrong. I know the guy from what's the band. Not Eagles. Not Eagles and Eagles of Death Metal, but there was the other band. I'm kicking myself for not knowing this. But either way, they're fine. We're gonna put them as okay. Oh, Queen of the Stone Age. That's what I was thinking of. I prefer Queens of the Stone Age. Is that sports team? Do I know them? Not sure. I'm gonna put no, no. Squid. Squid's fine. Um, we'll probably put Squid as decent. Um, got some Surf Crest. Don't know if I know them. The Voids, they're fine. Probably just okay or decent. Probably just put okay. I'll put decent. So what do we got next? AFI. Don't mind AFI. They're fine. AFI is probably decent. Then what do we got next? Got some cranberries. I don't mind cranberries. The first album I really liked. The second album with Zombie on it was good. And I like Zombie. It's a great protest song. Lingo is a beautiful song. That's goddamn gorgeous. Um, Dolores was a good single, rest in peace. We'll get him good. Devo, I like a lot of Devo stuff. The Evolution. I actually do get a kick out of a couple of Satisfaction. Um, I'll probably put Great. Devo is great. The Tigra, that's probably also great. I didn't see Bikini Kill on here. But I prefer Bikini Kill over La Tigra. But they're a great bikini, not bikini, Riot Girl band, especially Bikini Kill. And I do have a lot of respect for Catherine Hanna. But concerning Riot Girl, another shameless plug, I did a list of 30 songs that helped shape the Riot Girl movement. But yeah, we'll put Latigua, great. Spoon, don't mind Spoon, probably good. I really wish it was fewer tears because it's a lot of navigating. I could probably cut a few minutes off just by having fewer tears. Darkness, I like Darkness. Very campy, lots of fun. I believe in a thing called love. Um, can I go good or great? I'll probably put great. Permission to Land was definitely a great album. It's just whether or not the rest of their body. What do we got next? The Jam. I like the Jam. Important kind of mod banding. Paul Paul Weller was important in the UK scene. Never got hardcore into them, but so I'll stick with good. I like the National. Probably stick with good. So I think is that good there, or is that still? Yeah, that's good. Turnstile, which I thought I did earlier, so I don't know what happened there. But yeah, I'll say Turnstile probably is decent. XTC, I like XTC. XTC will probably say is good. Some songs I like. Ballad of Peter Pumpkinhead's a great song. I love Dear God. So what do we got next? Yo La Tango. I don't mind them. Never super got into them. But I like them enough. We'll just put decent. And we're finally at the end. So we got some ZZ Top. I like ZZ Top. Don't say love them, but they're good. They're good for what they are. They're a pretty rocking kind of blues-based band. Did I lose ZZ Top? Oh, there we go. Yeah, so I'll probably put ZZ Top as good. So I'm not going to review all my picks because it's already a long ass video. But we got greatest of all time, amazing, great, good, decent, okay, somewhat tolerable, bad, the absolute worst. I don't know. Mostly I don't know. It's because I couldn't recognize the font. So let me know, what do you think of my tier list? Who would you rank in GOAT tier? Which bands would you say are the absolute worst? Let me know in the comments. If you want me to keep making tier list videos, please like and subscribe. You can also check out my website, ongoing history of protestsongs.com. So that concludes the video. So thanks for watching and please stay safe.